And let me go through everybody. Well, first of all, today is February the 24th, 2018. So the people here, we have Mary, we have Hodge, we have Lustati, we have Rashid, we have Marissa, we have Jamila, we have Johnny, we have Moyu, we have Rojano, we have Christina. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody right. Okay, so what we're going to do is the debate today is called Traditional Education and Western Philosophies and the Impact they have on our cultures will disappear due to globalization. Okay?
Rick, would you please repeat?
Yep, I will. Okay, so
Thank you.
traditional Eastern and Western philosophies and the impact they have on our cultures will disappear or go away due to globalization. Okay? So the point here, as the world becomes more and more globalized, the idea is that we will
Is that only? I
lose
couldn't
it.
hear reflection.
What's that?
Hello, Rick.
Do you want me to repeat it one more time?
Hello, Rick.
Yes, Mayu. Yes.
Reflection. You are talking 3 times, so no one can hear you. Reflection. Now it's okay.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay.
I can hear you okay.
Okay.
Reflection.
Okay. I don't understand Mayu. What's
Can't hear you very well, yeah.
He said
Well,
he
I
is
think-
getting
He
feedback.
said
Okay. You're getting feedback. Okay, yeah. So make sure everybody, if you're not speaking, make sure your microphones are muted. Sometimes that's the reason people get feedback is maybe some mics are open. So make sure your microphones. Well, for those that so I'll say it one more time, for the third time, the final time. Okay, traditional Eastern and Western philosophies and the impact they have on our cultures will disappear due to globalization. Okay, that's the debate topic. So, for those that are new or those that have not joined us in a long time, the way we do this is we have 3 teams. Team A agrees with the topic. So, Team A would agree that these philosophies are going to, the difference between them are going to disappear because of globalization. Team B will disagree with the topic, and Team C will be the judges. Okay? All right? So that's what we're going to do. All right? So I will start, and we'll pick the teams, then we'll begin. And I want to say hello to Imad. Imad is here. Hey, Imad.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone.
Nice to
Hello.
see you again.
Oh, thank you very much. Nice to see you.
Okay, so Mary, what do you think? What team would you like to join?
It's a very difficult topic for me. So, what can I choose? How about Team B?
Okay, we'll put you on Team B.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Hodge, what team would you like to join?
Rick, I think I am confused. Which team is pro for the idea, and
Yeah, Team A is pro. Team A believes that one day we'll have no such thing as Eastern and Western philosophies because of the idea of globalization.
so maybe I will choose Team B.
Okay, so you and your mom on the same team. Okay.
It's the first time.
Oh, okay. Good job, mother-son teamwork. Okay, good. Lustati, what team would you like to join? Lustati? Okay, maybe you're listening. Okay, Rashid, what team would you like to join?
Actually, today I'll listen. I will be a listener today.
I'm going to teach you a Chinese word, bu hao. Bu hao, bad. Okay.
Not good. 不好.
I don't dare to take part, but I will listen. I like to be here as listener.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Today I will try to improve my listening skill, hearing your conversation.
Okay. So, Marissa, what team would you like to join?
B for me.
B. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, maybe one day we'll find somebody for Team A. Okay.
It might have to be you.
Jamila, what team would you like to join?
Excuse me, I'm focused on something else. Just give me a few minutes.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Johnny, what team would you like to join?
Team B.
Team B.
All of people are on Team B.
Moyu, what team would you like to join?
Hello?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep, we do. Uh-huh.
Yeah, before joining the team, the problem I have is that is it my side or your side? That, the feedback, I'm having some problem. I don't know. I'm hearing you twice. You are hearing me 3 times. So
Well, what here? Let me go ahead and I'll type. If you have a problem understanding the topic, I'll type it real fast. Okay. So that way, for some reason, maybe your connection is having problems or something. I don't know. So give me just a second. I'll type it. That way, you can Western philosophies, and the impact they have on our cultures disappear due to globalization. Okay, so there we go. So, Moyu, that's the topic. Okay, maybe you can. Well, while you're looking at that, let's go ahead and move on. So, Rajano, you're at work, so you're not able to join, right? Rajano, I think you said you're at work, so you cannot join right now, right? Okay, we'll go to Christina. Christina, what do you think?
I choose team. I choose team B.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
This is going to be interesting.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So, Imad, how about you?
Okay, before I answer, Rick, I would like to ask 2 questions quickly.
Sure.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The first one, you are talking about philosophy. Is that the things we were discussing yesterday?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And the second question, will disappear? You mean in recent time or in the future? For example, after 100 years or?
I would say maybe in the next 100 years. Yeah, I would say in the next 100 years.
It means the following years, not recently.
Yeah.
Okay. In this way, I will choose A.
Oh.
Hey!
Good. Yeah.
A one-man team. Okay.
Interesting.
All right. So it's you against the world. Okay.
Am I alone?
You're
Yeah.
going against the UK, Argentina, Vietnam, China. Oh my gosh. Okay. Morocco by itself, alone. Okay.
It will be interesting.
Yes. Okay.
Well done, you.
All right. So anybody I missed? I think Moyu, you didn't give us. Wait, I don't know. He's gone. I think he's having connection problems. And Jamila, you said that you got things going on, right? But you
Yeah,
don't
I
have time
cannot.
to join. Okay. And Rajano
At
says she's
least I
not.
have the time to join by the end. I said
Okay.
that I would choose Team A. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put you Team A, maybe. Okay. Team A question mark. Okay.
Yeah, do that.
We didn't get anybody for Team C either. We don't have any judges. We need a judge. Who's going to be a judge?
Well, someone said they were going to listen, so maybe
Yeah.
they can.
Rashid? I'm going to give you a job, okay? Rashid?
No. I will. I like to be listener today because judging is very difficult job. I think.
Very controversial, huh?
Not really.
Is it too stressful for you, huh?
Okay, please give me. I like to get your forgiveness today.
Okay, well, okay. All right.
Let me change my mind
Okay,
on Team C.
okay, all right. Oh, you are what we call a camper, okay? Okay, good job. Okay, so Mary, you are in charge, okay?
I think that the person from UK can be judged today if she agrees.
Well, Mary volunteered to be judge, so we're fine. We're fine. Um, we have okay. So let me go through the names we have and who joined what teams. Okay. So on Team A we have Imad. If Jamila has time, she'll be also on Team A. I put a question mark next to her name. Team B we have Hodge, Marissa, Johnny, Christina. Team C we have Mary. So I didn't hear from Lustasti. Maybe she's got things going on. Rashid, you are going to listen. And I think that's it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and begin. Begin with Team A. So, Mr. Imad, it's all about you. You're going to be the superstar, okay?
I am alone and I will start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Hello.
Yeah.
I
Hey.
am back.
Okay. So Lustasi, did you want to join the team?
Hello.
Okay. So I need to ask a favor of everybody. So Moyu, can you mute your microphone when you're not speaking? Okay. So let me explain.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So let me explain something real quickly. The only way we can do this, and the only way it works, is if we have, silence when people are speaking, because it's really hard to hear. We have 8, 9 different countries, and it's really hard to hear each other. So it's really important for people to mute their microphones if they're not speaking. So I would make sure and ask everybody to please do that once we start. Before we start, Imad, let me go ahead, since Moyu's back. Let me ask him what team he would join. Moyu, what team would you like to join?
Yeah, I missed everything. So could you please say? I know the topic. I saw the topic over the website, but I don't know the topic. So
You don't know the what? Say that again, please.
yeah, what I mean now you give 2 topics. So yeah, I don't know what these guys team they are going to defend. So yeah, could you please give me a little bit, because that time it was a little bit blurry. I couldn't hear anything that time, but now it's okay.
Okay, but I also typed it. I also pasted what we said in the chat box. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you read what we have there, all we need for you is either you're in Team A because you agree with it, or you're in Team B because you disagree with it, right?
I disagree with the topic. I disagree with the topic.
Okay, so you'll be on Team B with everybody else. Okay. Maybe I should have asked, okay? Okay, thank you, Moyu. Thank you. And then I think, Lustati, you said did you want to go ahead and join a team? You would have joined
Exactly.
I would have joined Team A.
Exactly, I want to join, but what's the topic? Is there any topic for tonight?
Is there any, say that one more time, please?
Is there any topic tonight at this time?
Yeah, the topic. Yeah, so I know some of you don't join so often. So let me. I want to be clear about where to go. So in our website, we have a schedule, and in that schedule, we always show the topic for every day, whether we do else preparation, or whether we do a discussion, or whether we do a debate. So the best way for everybody, if you want to know what the topic's going to be, the best way is to go to the schedule, and we have it there. If people have questions, of course, let us know. We'll be happy, let people know. So I just pasted the topic in the chat box. Can you see it in the chat box?
Traditional this one, right?
Traditional, yep. And the Eastern and Western philosophies and the impact they have on our culture will disappear due to globalization. Do you agree with that or disagree with it?
Traditional. I think I do agree with this one. Yeah.
Oh, you do? You agree? Oh, so Imad has a point. Okay, good. Okay.
That's what we like.
But that's
Good.
Imad, you're not alone now, okay? Okay. So what we do now, again, for those that have not joined us recently, what we do is we go through each person. We allow each person about 2 or 3, 4 minutes to give us their opinion about the topic. Okay. And then we move on to the other person. Okay. And at the end, the person that's the judge, in this case, Mary, will tell us which team she thought did a better job of presenting their argument. And that's how we decide the winner for the debate. Okay. So let us go ahead. And again, I would just ask one favor for people that are not speaking, if you can mute your microphones. And while other people are speaking, it makes it really hard for us to hear other people. Okay, so please make sure your microphones are muted if possible. And we will begin, Imad, with you again.
Okay. Thank you, Rick, for giving us this opportunity to express myself. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Imad, and I am from Morocco. The topic of today is traditional Eastern and Western philosophies and the impact they have on our cultures with this globalization. Okay, in this topic we can extract the main or the power words which are or the keywords which are traditional. We have philosophy, impact, and culture, and globalization. Okay, I choose to be that this effect of these philosophies is future few years or after a few years that will disappear this impact because we have globalizations. I will try to give a definition to this keyword because it's very important. Since we interfere globalization in this impact, it surely will change something. Whenever we hear this word globalization, so there is a change. There is a movement from one state to another, from one period of time to another. There is advancement, there is achievement. For example, there is change in general. So what is globalization in general? It is a trend of increasing interaction between peoples on the worldwide scale due to the advances in transportations and communication technology, nominally beginning with steamship and the telegraph in the early years, with increased interaction between nation states and individuals come to growth of international trade, ideas, and culture. This is a short definition with I have brought from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Okay, so when we are talking about these philosophies, and because yesterday we were talking about these philosophies and how these philosophies of the West affect on the East one or the similarities and the difference between them. Since as I said, since we have this term or this concept which is globalization, the change will be always happens because globalization is the change in the form, in the structure of things. For example, communication, trend. When we are talking about globalization, we are talking about different field. So this culture, due to this globalization, surely and absolutely will change the culture because the culture is changing from one period to another. So, let's take into consideration a few years ago, it means there were no Facebook, social media that can help the interaction and development in the communication between people. But recently, as we noticed, it means everything has been changed. And just in recent time ago, it means no one has this view that Facebook will change the entire life of people. They can share everything. They can share the lives of each other with friends, with family. It means in the last years, for example, it was an idea which is abstract. No one can believe it. This is why I said it can happen in the future too. Something which is it means unbelievable that may happen in the future. It means that our culture, we consider it as something which is in the past. There were this philosophy that happens recently. For example, we talk about the philosophy, the way of life, the way of work, the interaction between people, the trade and everything. maybe they will appear something which is we cannot imagine, but it will happen because of globalization in the next few years, or maybe after 1 year. This is why I asked the question before I start or I chose the group, if it is recently or not in the future. Since it is in the future, it means after many years, there may happen something because there is evolution. We have innovative people. We have innovations. It means that it may happen something new, which may change everything in man's life. They will change the way of living, the way of communicating, the way of moving from one place to another. That might happen because just we have to have an open mind that what happened in the future will be unbelievable, since what we have now was unbelievable in the past. In the past, we did it. It's impossible to share your real life in the social media profile because something which was impossible to believe in. But nowadays, it's true and it happens in life. That's the same way it may happen in the future and happen something which is unbelievable nowadays, but it will be normal in the future. In all these things will it means that the philosophy that we have recent in nowadays, it will disappear from what will happen in the future, and it will happen because there is many theories or that talk that in the future things will be changed. It means these philosophies will be no more valuable, no more valid in the future next years. That's why, to summarize or recapitulate, I would say that because we have globalization, everything is possible, and life will change in the future in order to become another life, and these philosophies will be no more valid in this future. And thank you very much. I'm sorry for making it longer.
Oh no! You did a good job. I apologize too. You were getting some. I think Christina was having a hard time to mute her microphone, so I apologize for that. But no, you said some good things here. It was very interesting.
Yeah,
Sounds
well
like
done. Brilliant.
sounds like you were prepared. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you wrote everything
Actually,
down.
when I come to this call, I just visited the website and see the topic.
Wow.
It's just 5 minutes because I just go directly to the Wikipedia in order to extract that definition I said in the first. But other things, I just talk my mind.
That's brilliant.
That's fine. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you, Imad. And I know that you guys only have 2 people on your team, so it makes it a little bit more challenging. So let's go to Haj. Haj on Team B. So tell us why you think that we will always have 2 different philosophies. Huh? Why do you think globalization won't have an impact?
As far as I'm concerned, the globalization means equal communication between both Western philosophy and Eastern philosophy. It's a process. The process of globalization provide a grand and marvelous stage for all kinds of cultures, and on this stage, it will help to supplement. It will help the different cultures to supplement each other, and then it will only make the culture more. It will only make the culture more gorgeous and shown the diversity of cultures. As nowadays the world is nowadays the world really can communicate with each other easily. For example, like English becomes the most general language, but when we look back at the history of English, we can find it's also a history of both intruder and colonization like that. And I remember when in the past um, when France intruded England, some French vocabulary just mixed in English, and it never make English extinguished, but it will only make the language more beautiful. So, in conclusion, I do agree that the globalization just change different philosophies in another form of existence, and only make the culture more charming and can be.
Western philosophy is driven by a beginning and end, by more of a logical approach, more by a scientific approach. Okay, right? So when we think about Western philosophy, if you think about the countries you live in, whether it be in China or Japan or Vietnam or some parts of Africa, often these countries are considered to have adopted some level of Eastern philosophy. Okay, there's also a strong spiritual point in Eastern philosophy as well. Okay, we think about Western philosophy, again, it's more logical, more scientifically driven. Okay, it's more about the individual. Okay, think about individualism. Okay, so those are the major differences. In Eastern philosophy, we think about collectivism, again, about the whole, not the individual. In Western philosophy, there's a lot more emphasis on the individual. Okay, maybe setting goals, etc., etc. So when you talk about these factors, and you think about globalization due to things like social media or technology, okay, one day are we all going to have the same general ideas, or will we always have these two major different ideas? Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead and continue. And when we finish this, we have some other things we could talk about that are. This is kind of a tough one, I know that, but we'll continue. So, thank you. I think your point was more focused on the social media. It sounded like, and the way the social media influences people, which is fine. Which is fine. That's fine. But let's go ahead and continue. And again, I would just so let's go to Marissa. Marissa.
Yeah, well, I think that
Uh-huh.
philosophies and culture won't ever disappear, really, because each country's to give each country its identity. It's always had its own culture and language and philosophy and way of education and things, and that's what makes each country its own thing and makes it unique and what it is. And many different countries at the moment through time have had their own great and famous people that have educated people in their own country and even have been known around the world, and same with philosophy as well, and don't think there's any reason really why that should go in each country when it's for all this time it's been part of each country and its well-being and value, and it contributes to the world, and so it can go with the globalization and it can be in harmony with it, because as each country continues with its own culture and education and philosophy, and all the people have their own identity at the same time, they can bring that to other countries and other people, and it can, like someone said earlier, it can help to make each other's countries and cultures more diverse and special, because they're bringing part of it with them when people maybe work and will go to different countries, or they see people in their own countries and things, and it just makes it really interesting, and it helps the growth of each country to have their own culture and philosophy and education, but at the same time bring in ideas from other countries as well. So I don't think they're going to one's going to overrule the other, but they can work with each other.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting, Marissa. Very interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have so many things I want to say. I keep my mouth shut. Okay. You guys are bringing up some good ideas. Okay, Johnny. What do you think, Johnny?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay. I will try to be brief. To me, the idea of the topic is practically impossible because we will always have culture. We will always have either Eastern culture or Western culture. For me, globalization is just reaching out to other people what you have, what you think, or what you can do to other people, to other places. Just taking what you have and moving around the globe so that other people can have the same thing, so that you can share. For me, globalization is not the destruction of something, rather is the sharing what you have with other people. It's just reaching out to more people. That's for me globalization. Since the topic says that traditional Eastern and Western philosophies are going to be destroyed, perhaps, or will disappear due to just sharing too much. And that's to me it's impossible, because if we take into consideration that globalization is just sharing more to more people, then you will always have either Eastern or Western. And I mean, leaving aside that we also have the Southern and the Northern philosophies too. If we just focus on just one side of the planet on the other, like, horizontally, vertically, you will always have either one or the other. But the topic says that both of them are going to disappear due to globalization. And we don't have any other unless you live on the moon and you have your own culture with, or any other worlds, in other planets where you have a different kind of culture. Unless we have that, you will always have Eastern and Western. And globalization, what it does is just homogenize everything. It makes everything even. It makes everything reachable to other people. But you always will have something. If people adopt more Western culture, then it will become, everything will become Western. Or if people adopt more Eastern culture, globalization, what we do is just to make everything Eastern. So you will always have either one of the other or both of them. But saying that globalization will make them disappear is like saying, it's like introducing a third party. Like, if globalization will bring its own culture that won't be neither Eastern nor Western. So that's why I think it is impossible. You will always have something, and it wouldn't matter what the tradition is, and the culture is, and it wouldn't matter if it is traditional or new. It wouldn't matter. What it matters is that you will always have either one idea or the other, or both. That's what globalization does. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Definitely, yeah.
Good job.
Well, your team B colleagues are happy with what you said, Johnny. Okay.
All right.
So I guess we'll find out if the judge agrees. Okay. So let's go. Okay, let's continue with team B then, because we don't have anybody else in team A. So, Christina, why did you choose team B? Christina, are you here? Christina, hello. Okay, So let's go to Moyu. Why did you choose Team B, Moyu?
Yes, because I didn't agree the total. I disagree, so that's why I choose Team B.
Okay.
The reasons are the way this question is framed. You said traditions will be all together. That's why I disagree with. The first thing is that traditions are some kind of identity. So now you divide the world into two parts, like the West and East, and for the many people, tradition is just a part of their life. Just they are very proud of their identity, so they don't want to let the other culture or other tradition take over. So I think for the other reason, you are going to have forever some kind of people who are trying to stick with their own tradition, whatever it is. Yes, I agree. Globalization might bring societies closer together, and for that reason they may share some kind of traditions. But I don't agree that the statement that these traditions all disappear, because if these two both of them disappear, then what is the replacement? What is the substitute? So yeah, for that reason also I don't think these things will disappear. The other thing is that these traditions have been around for a long time, as long as thousands and thousands of years. So I don't think it's something which has been for many years around that could disappear over 50 or some few years. I don't agree that. The other thing is that nowadays we have that kind of diversity where people they are saying some countries, or maybe most developed countries, they are promoting that diversity. You say they are saying you can come over this country, but still you can hold with your old tradition, and that could survive. Says yes, some part of the tradition may disappear, but for sure some of that tradition is going to stay around for many years because it is okay. And nowadays to be different is something. To be different, whether it's a language, tradition, the way you are doing. So people nowadays they are admired about diversity, difference. So for that reason, although I think there's no way these things will disappear, rather these traditions may come closer and become adaptable to each other, and people may feel comfortable about the other traditions. And for that reason, so I think these traditions will survive for longer because of that. So yes, I say yeah, I don't think this will cause I mean globalization, what is social media. Yes, that could bring us together, to bring us closer, that could make us acceptable to the differences, to different ideas, views, religion, look, something like that, as Jamila said last night. And so yes, but I don't believe these traditions will disappear. I believe they will. Some of them, yes, may do, but the most of them, or many of them, will never ever disappear. Yeah, that's my idea.
Okay, thank you, Moyu. Very well put. Very well put. Good job. I don't know, Imad and Lustate. Team B is coming on with some strong arguments. Before we go to the judge, Hiroki has joined us. And Hiroki, did you want to take part in the team before we go to the judge?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Team B still have one. Jamila.
Well, I don't know if Jamila is ready to speak yet. Jamila? Jamila, are you here? Oh my gosh. Also, Aman is here. Aman, did you want to say something about the topic before we go to the judge? I think Team A might need some. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they don't need help. I don't know.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah, may I share? May I say some opinion?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think the reason why I do not agree because I think it's the exchange culture between the Western and the Northern, and the Southern. Um, each country have the featured culture. It is the history of this country, and I am not, and sometimes exchange is better than disappear. Um, we always because each country have because each country um, should study the civilization of Western and Northern. For example, in southern country, maybe years ago, we have the holiday of the New Year instead of Lunar New Year, like my country, China, and Korea. Yeah, and um, if one day the if one day the culture of two sides will be lost, I think we will we will I think our world is not I think it's not interest. That's all about my opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for sharing your idea. Okay. Thank you very much. It's interesting you bring up the Lunar New Year. Okay. All right. So, thank you to Team A and Team B. Mary.
Yes.
Okay, you heard what everybody had to say.
Not really.
Oh,
I
okay.
need your help. Before I make probably a fair decision, please and summarize or give me brief
Okay, I was.
help.
I was. Do you want me to summarize what everybody said?
Yes, please.
Oh my gosh! Now you're
Oh
putting
no.
me. Now you're putting me on the spot. Okay, so Team A, and I won't do it by person. I'll just do it in general. So Team
Sure.
A basically emphasized the idea that when we think about globalization, we think about increased trade, we think about technology, things like social media, and that it brings us more into contact with each other. Right? As we come and more in contact with each other, we begin to adapt or adopt to other ideas. Okay, which is human nature, okay? And it starts to blur the lines between the differences, okay? So when we think about, the idea again, what is philosophy? It's an idea, okay? So as we share ideas, maybe we start to adopt other people's ideas, okay? And so that was the key point, I think, in Team A. And Lustasny talked quite a bit about social media, not specifically about the different philosophies, but about the role that social media has from a cultural standpoint, okay? Team B put a lot of emphasis on the idea that globalization introduces cultures to each other, and that because of these introduction to people that think differently, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to come up with the same idea about things. Rather, it just introduces us to different ideas. Okay, and in some cases, this exposure to different ideas, it may help us to appreciate the differences, but not necessarily to have to come up with a common idea. Rather, it teaches us to appreciate that we may think differently from other people. And then there was the idea, for example, that we've had these differences. We will always have these philosophical differences between East and West, and that's not going to change. That was there in the past. It will be there in the future. Okay. And yeah, so Team B focused a lot on the idea. Sure, we think differently. Globalization brings us into contact with different people, but it doesn't necessarily result in us changing the way we look at things. We'll still continue to have these philosophical differences. Okay, that at a very high level was what the two teams said. Okay.
So, Rick, I guess you have already given me the result, and I think both teams have done a good job. They both give their own strong point, and they support their teams. And yeah, because the topic today is whether global what? I even forgot the word. And whether it will take this due to global. Please tell me how the word, Rick.
Globalization.
Yeah, globalization. Due to globalization, whether the difference between Western and Eastern philosophy and differences will disappear, but Team B did say it's impossible to disappear, and it also gives the definition of globalization. It says they said it goes both ways, but not one way, and to make one appear. And it also asked, so what will replace the differences? And they share different. They would all would make the word even more. I don't know. I have a question. My language problems, as you know, but for me, the final, my decision is I vote for Team B. Even Team A has done a very good job, but I guess you did a better job.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So congratulations, Team B. I think that was hard for Team A. Congratulations. Okay, so before I've got some feedback I also want to provide about this, but before I provide my feedback, Johnny, did you want to clarify what you said then?
Yeah, I will try to give an example. Let's suppose you live in the West, I live in the East. Okay, you have an idea, you have a philosophy. Let's say a philosophy about how to eat well, and due to globalization, now I can hear you. You can share your idea to me, right? I live in the East, remember. So now I listen to you, and suppose that I agree with you, and I adopt your idea. So now I become a Western, right? I have a Western philosophy inside of me, right? Suppose that my previous philosophy disappeared. Suppose I dropped it, and I don't think like that anymore. So now both of us became Westerners, right?
And how about, can I say something? Not be a judge, just share my opinion.
Okay, hang on one second, Mary. Hang on, give me just 1 minute. So Johnny, your point is that even if one disappears, there's still going to be another one.
Exactly, right? Because I mean, saying that both of them are going to disappear because of globalization. And what is globalization if it's not just sharing with everybody? So it is just homogenizing everything, but you will always have something. Either it will be everything will be Western because now everything thinks the same way, or or we will always be all Easterns, or we will be both, because now that we are in touch with each other, we adopt each other's ideas, but you will always have something that it will be originated in the West or it was originated in the East. That's what I say. Saying that both
Okay.
of them are going to disappear, it's like saying, well, what is it that we're going to have instead? Are we going to have some kind of
Oh,
Martian philosophy?
I've got to answer for you, but I'll do my answer after Mary goes.
Sure.
Yeah, I have some ideas to
Okay,
him.
go ahead. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
And he said, he would agree or adopt what you talk to him or what's your idea. Probably he would adopt a part, but not all, I guess. Even if he adopts all, but not all of people will adopt all, right? And even you agree or accept, but I guess only a part. And you still have your idea and your own philosophy from your country. Probably it will be more understandable, but you will respect the other, but doesn't mean you won't keep yours, and the other will keep theirs. But it still both sides exist, but not disappear. That's what I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, for
I
this,
think
Well, Rashid, you need to wait, Rashid. You said you're going to listen.
I like
So,
to say
Rashid,
about
right, Rashid, you need to wait. You didn't want to speak, so you need to wait a little bit, okay? All right?
okay.
Okay, please. This is why I asked you to participate earlier, okay? So give me 1 minute. So before, okay, so let me just, because I also want to respond to the points that were brought up. I do agree. I do agree that when I think about philosophy, and I think about the origin or the source of these philosophies, right? So let's be clear. There are two major philosophies that go back to the beginning of time, right? That's Eastern and Western, okay? Those are the two major now maybe there might be other ideas in other parts of the world, but those are the major philosophies, okay? So when we think about what we said, what is the definition of Eastern philosophy? And we talked about this yesterday. We talked about it on Wednesday and Thursday as well. Okay. So we can already see that due to increased globalization, due to the use of technology that allows us to talk to each other, see each other, communicate with each other on different ideas, etc., we can see that by sharing things, we can start, and I'll use Johnny's example. Let's say I meet somebody in China and they introduce me to the idea of traditional medicine, okay? So maybe I say, that's interesting, okay? I'd like to try that, and maybe it helps me to be healthy, okay? So now I have adopted something that's tied to Eastern philosophy, okay? Traditional medicine is tied to Eastern philosophy, okay? So, maybe I adopt my ideas to a different source. For me, I think there's something called human philosophy, okay? It's neither East, it's neither West. It takes the best of both. It takes together the attributes of both of those philosophies and brings them together to a common. Let's use the example yesterday when we were talking with Imad, okay? So, for example, in some countries, maybe traditionally the role of women in society was different, right? And we can see that changing. And part of the reason why that's changing, is awareness, right? So as people in certain parts of the world gain more awareness and are exposed to different ideas, I'll use liberal ideas, okay? They say, okay, maybe I should get an education. Maybe I should work, okay? So it creates a change. And my point here is that if you look at 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, you can see major changes in China. The traditional Chinese model was always about family. right? Now we see in China where it's a lot of it's also about the individual. Okay, it's changing. Okay, um, and we can see in some Western countries, Eastern philosophy has taken on a larger role. Again, traditional medicine. Okay, uh, so my point is, as we become more and more exposed to each other, I think we create this unique thing. I'll just call it human philosophy, which takes attributes of Eastern, attributes of Western, and looks at that as your core set. Because to me, what is philosophy? Philosophy is tied to your culture, it's tied to your ideas, okay? It's tied to the way you believe about things. Ideas can always change, okay? Ideas can always change. They're not material. It's not black and white. An idea is something that is the way you think about something, right? So they're always, how do I say it? They're always, I can't even think of the right English words, okay? they're capable of being influenced. Your ideas or if I have an idea about something, I'm exposed to somebody else from a different country, maybe in China, maybe in Japan, maybe in Africa, that my idea about whatever it is can be changed, okay? It's not a material thing, okay? It's an idea. So to me, I believe that one day in this world, we're going to find that we have the set of common philosophical ideas, which are based in part upon our common values, okay? And I would say that most people in the world share the same common values. And because we share the same common values, therefore we share the same common ideas about things, right? The way we treat good versus evil, the way we treat morality, the way we treat, or maybe it's our spiritual faith, okay, or lack of, whatever it is, okay. Anyway, that's my opinion. But I think.
He clicked the wrong button.
Yeah. Yeah, he thinks. Then, oop.
He thinks, therefore.
Janina,
Oops.
Hey.
Oh.
you need to help your teen.
I don't know what happened. Okay. I think I hit the wrong button. Okay.
Oh,
That's what someone said, yeah.
Okay. Well, no, Johnny. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I believe that there's a potential one day that these ideas will become one central idea. That's my point. Exactly my point.
Whose ideas are those? The ideas you're talking about.
Well, the ideas I'm talking about is what we think. So right now, there's things I believe in the Eastern philosophy that I agree with some of those ideas. I agree with some of the ideas, that we have in Western philosophy. So I agree with both of them, both with parts of both. Okay. And I
Can
think.
I say something, Richard?
Sure, go ahead, Rashid. Yes, but from now on, Rashid, I'm gonna warn you. From now on, you have to participate. If you want to say something, you need to participate.
The fact is, at the beginning, I thought it will be very difficult for me to take part in this sort of topic. But as you proceeded on, I thought that okay, I think I should have participated. But sometime I am undecided. I mean, I suffer from indecision. That's why it happens to me.
Okay.
Anyway, I think that if any culture or any tradition, we think it's a globalization, age of globalization. Everything people can share with each other. And if any culture or any in tradition, we think that it will serve my needs. It will, if I follow that culture, I will be able to live my life with more comfort, with more, with more easily, with easier way. Then I will try to change my culture and adopt another culture. I think it. Yeah, what you said, hearing your excerpt, your words, I could understand. I think that one day the culture, I mean, global culture will be mixed with the best cultures of every part of the world, and that decision I reached during
Okay.
your conversation.
Okay. We also have Hiroki hasn't spoken yet. Hiroki, did you want to say something?
Yes, I think yeah, but I think globalization or localization happening now in the world. So, but if the globalization goes on, like this, and maybe world is more, in one sense, monotone, but maybe in another sense, unified. But still, maybe Eastern people thinking pattern, maybe naturally influence of their culture, their tradition, their philosophies, and Eastern people too. So it still exists, but if the globalization goes on, maybe it is maybe it's less. How can I say this? That's my opinion.
Okay.
And Ray,
Mm.
just now you made an example about medicine between two parts, Eastern and Western, right? You know, China adopt Western medicine a lot. Even I guess more and more people, even most people, when they're sick, choose to see Western. I mean, doctors who learned Western medicine, but still, two part exist. You know, Chinese cultural medicine based on different rules. Still, they both exist, I guess.
Well, and I'm there. I mean, these are what we're talking about is ideas. Again, there's no such thing as right or wrong. It's ideas, okay? So the idea that we will, is it realistic that all people will always feel the same way? Probably not, right? That's probably not realistic, right? Okay.
Sure not.
The world is a big place. There's a lot of people in the world, okay? So if we think less in absolute terms and more in general, okay? Again, I look at this in terms of the my exposure for example, when I went to China, my exposure, and not just China, Japan and other countries as well, but my exposure to the way people believe there, some of these ideas had a large impact on me and the way I thought about things. Okay. And people that maybe live in China or some of these other countries and have gone abroad, they've studied here, for example, in the United States, and they've listened to people's ideas, and when they went back home, they adopted some of those ideas. Okay. So that's my point, is that the more and more, I'll call it a hybrid, okay? The hybrid approach where you take the things that you believe from an Eastern philosophy standpoint, the things you believe from a Western philosophy standpoint, and you come up with something that's a hybrid of both of those. It's not Eastern, it's not Western, it's a hybrid approach, okay? That is separate than Eastern or Western, because it's a combination, it's a synergy. It's a synergy of both of those philosophies, okay? That was my point, is that we can come up with something that I think is based upon human philosophy, human values, and not Chinese values, not American values, okay?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I think it's always it's not always bilateral. That means you're talking about adopting ideas, and in most cases, Eastern countries adopt Western countries' values and ideas. So you, for example, you said that you traveled a lot and you adopted some ideas. What kind of ideas, for example?
Sorry, I had my microphone muted. So for example, when I was in China, I saw a lot of people doing acupuncture. I saw people using, herbal tea, right? ginger, some of the natural ingredients to fight colds, to fight sicknesses. Okay, instead of, for example, a lot of people, instead of going to the doctor and getting some medicine, okay, maybe they drink a lot of tea, green tea, flower tea, hua cha, flower tea, lu cha, which is green tea, or they, and they add ginger and other things. So, and I had a friend when I was there, and I was pretty sick because of the weather, and I went to a hotel, and the hotel prepared the special ginger tea, and I drank it all day long, and by the next day I was wonderful. Okay. So my point is when I came back home to the United States, I started drinking a lot of tea, and I found that it did have some healthy attributes. Okay, for me. Okay, that's a small example. I saw a friend of mine. Her father was getting acupuncture. Okay. Now, normally I won't have people stick needles in me. Okay, I don't like that. Okay? But my point is that for me, the sense of family. Okay, when I was in some other countries, I saw a much stronger connection in the families. Now we here, in our country, of course, people still believe in family. I'm not saying we don't, but it's less common these days for families to actually do things together. Okay, so that's my point. My exposure to these different, when I was in China, I went to a temple and I had a long talk with a monk that was there about some things. Okay, so that was my experience in this other country, or these other countries. Does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't apply to everybody. Maybe it doesn't apply.
I think, I found my favorite brand a cup noodle in American supermarket, so I was surprised and I'm glad. But it is cup noodle. It's a kind of globalized brand, but also the taste is different from Japanese one. The roast chicken taste or something. So it's kind of an example of how globalization is going on. Kind of people arrange the globalized culture in the accordance with their culture or their taste.
Well, again, I understand the point. That Team B made. I understand that point very clearly. We have a big world. We have a lot of cultures. We have a lot of people. The idea that we're all going to think exactly the same way, no, that's not realistic. Okay, I understand. I get that point. But I do believe that globalization, and specifically if we think about the definition of globalization, what it means, and we think about technology, I think that we do find ourselves, by being more aware of people that are different, people that, believe differently than us, whether from a religious standpoint or think from an economic standpoint or think from a social standpoint, right? When we listen to people, it exposes us to a different idea. And in some cases, when we're exposed to a different idea, we say, I like that. I'm going to try it, right? So that's my point. And from that, you get a group of people that grows larger and larger that says, okay, well, we're going to try this. And again, to me, there are things in Eastern philosophy that I like and I think are important. There are things in Western philosophy I like and I think are important.
Eric, can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
And I remember you said once when you were in China with your friend and you decided to hug his or her mom, right? And at that moment you noticed that that's not appropriate in China. Do you think you might, next time when you have this thought, you will just tell yourself, oh, it's not acceptable in China. It doesn't mean you really accept the Chinese culture, right?
Well, again, we can. I mean, I am who I am, right? So if I was in China again, I would probably hug somebody. Okay, so now it's not common, but I don't think people take offense at it. It's just kind of different for them, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, oh, right, I'm going to call the police, right?
Why? Chinese people, right?
It's just not. It's just something they're not used to, right?
No.
Yes.
So I mean, again, there's a difference between, I think, being in a country and doing something that people aren't used to is different than going into a country and doing something that violates or creates a really bad situation. That didn't create a bad situation when I hugged the mother of my friend. It was just something. She looked at me like, huh? Okay, because she wasn't used to it. But it did.
Your friend understood you because he has been well educated, or he knows the culture in your country. For me, if my friend tried to do something, I cannot stand them. But and of course, I might be polite and tell my friend why you should not, and please accept my what, right?
Yeah, I think, again, we all of us have different experiences. All of us have different ideas about life, right? We have different ideas about everything, okay? It reminds me about the pillars. I'll use the word pillars. It reminds me about the pillars of foundation of who we are. And I believe that who we are is based upon various things, including our sense of purpose. I think it's based upon what we believe. For some people that would be called faith, for other people it wouldn't. Okay, I think it's based upon the values we hold and where those values came from. So people, in my opinion, maybe we're simple, but I think we're also the most complicated thing in the world, okay? I think we are.
Simple, but still complicated.
No, we are, because I think, and a lot of it has to do, it's not our physiological part, it's not our body, it's our ideas, okay?
Yes.
So, go ahead.
Yes, Rick. Let me say this. You said when you go to China, there are certain traditions or cultures you appreciated, you accepted, you took with you in China. And also, that's sure, if everyone wanted to whatever country, then it has to be some instances where you appreciate and say, yes, they have this. So when you accepted that from China, then why you are saying it's like something new. It's the Eastern philosophy that you accepted. And if I go to America and maybe get educated and I just come back to my country with some new philosophy and way of thinking, then that's Western ideas that I appreciated. So why are you calling these things new things? Something like human? Why are you saying like that?
Why am I saying that those are new things?
Yeah. You said that's hyperbole or human philosophy.
Yeah.
For me, I'm saying it is the West and the East come together, so it must be called a mixed something like that. But
okay, have you guys ever heard of something called paradigm shift?
Paradigm.
I think I'm trying to spell it correctly. Paradigm.
Yes, I heard.
I think.
Yeah.
So it's the way you view something, right? When we say a paradigm shift, it means a complete change in the way that you view something, or maybe the way something's done, right? You find companies sometimes will implement some kind of paradigm shift in the way that they operate, right? Maybe one day they make all the managers work for all the employees. I don't know. Okay. So it's our perspective on something, right? A change in perspective. Okay. So if we think about a paradigm shift in terms of what I'm talking about, what I'm saying is that when we take one thing and we take something else, okay, we always say 1 plus 1 is 2, okay? But maybe sometimes 1 plus 1 is also 3, okay?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
So logically speaking, 1 plus 1 will always be 2, right?
Logically, yeah.
Okay, but from a paradigm shift, maybe it's again. There's another word, synergy. Okay, when you think about the word synergy, that you gain more from the individual parts. The sum is more than the individual parts, right? So if we take things, individual things, and if we treat them separately, okay, they are what they are. But by bringing them together, maybe create something larger than the sum of individual parts. Okay, that's what we're talking about when we talk about things like synergy or implementing a paradigm shift into the way we view things. Okay, that's what
I see. Yeah.
Mary,
Yes.
in your country, do the children have to divine the parents before the meal?
Would you please repeat your question?
In
In
your
my country.
country,
Yes.
yeah, in your country, before the meal, do the children have to divine the parents to eat meal?
I don't think I really understand her question.
Wow.
So what you're saying, Christina, is in China, do the parents have to give some kind of blessing to their parents before they eat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most time, but not have to. Some parents, some mothers do not breastfeed their children. Not all.
Yeah, in my country, children have to, must.
In China, not must, but we always think it's better or it's even easier for mothers to breastfeed their children. The children. I don't know why I said children.
Wow. yeah, because our culture have many the same, so I ask this question.
Probably in the past, for many reasons. One is that if you do not breastfeed your children, you need to buy something. Of course, you need to spend more money, and of course, not all of the mother will afford to buy some like milk, or the other thing that because they needed to work all the time, and if they didn't feed their children, they would spend some extra time to prepare food. I guess it would also be. I guess that's the two reasons in the past in China. I could say probably most parents breastfeed their children.
Yeah.
Okay. So did anybody else have anything they want to say about this topic or in general about philosophy? Any general comments? I see Jamie's here. Welcome, Jamie. Mila is here. Welcome, Mila. Amadeus is here. Welcome, Amadeus. Anybody have anything else they would like to say?
Hi everyone, but I'm outside and it's too loud. The dog wants to say something.
His dog wants to say something.
Oh, we have a lot of dogs here, okay?
Is Rick's dog?
No, that was Mila's dog. No, my dog. Yeah, my dog is outside eating its food, okay?
One's asleep on his bed.
Yeah, what's that?
One's asleep on.
What is his brand?
No,
Mine's Devin's asleep on his bed.
Yours is asleep?
Yeah.
What time is it there? It's not that late, is it?
No, but
three of mine is asleep.
He's been out for a long walk this morning.
Oh. So yours is asleep, Leon's is asleep. Oh my gosh.
Mine is even have a snoring there.
Oh, he's snoring? it's really funny. Last night I was working on the computer and I had my dog in, and I always put a blanket over him when he goes to sleep at night. Okay, and he starts snoring really loud. Like, I said, "Oh my gosh, dog! You're a dog. What are you doing snoring?" Okay. But I guess So anyway, anybody else have anything they want to talk about with philosophy?
Yeah, you brought
I
up.
wish.
Sorry, sorry. You,
Go ahead.
sorry. Phrase "I am what I am," and I combined. Actually, Jamie said the same thing, and I combined and ate it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of an example of hybrid.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I said in Japanese that it's boku wa boku desu. I am what I am. Yeah. I believe so I like philosophy a lot, and it makes you think about higher things, other than there are things that we don't understand that are hard to comprehend. Anyway, I'll stop rambling.
Well, the world, sometimes if we think about it again, and, we have something that we call deep thinkers, right? You guys have heard that term before, a deep thinker? Yeah. So, and you have to be careful, I think, sometimes, because you have people in their life that's all they do is think.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes you need to do.
Yeah, you should overthink.
But I think, it's actually a very interesting, when we talk about philosophy, it's actually a very interesting topic because it really goes down to what we think about our life, what we think about, people around us, what we think about our role in this world. Do we have a role? We talked about yesterday and the day before, what is our purpose, and, people have different ideas about that. So, go ahead.
Do you have a favorite philosopher? I think one of mine, I like Socrates and Confucius are my two favorites. How about you? Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and Confucius are my favorites. How about you? Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Confucius.
Yeah, no, those are the basic foundation of most of the Western Eastern philosophy came from those two.
Yeah.
So I want to. Anybody want to bring up something at all related to this? Yesterday we were talking a little bit about how it affects. I know Imad, you brought up a lot of interesting points.
Yeah.
We didn't have a chance to talk in detail about them, but you brought up a lot of interesting points.
I like to give you a riddle to you all. I mean, puzzle, something like puzzle. So, can you, anyone can answer? Do you know how many villages in the world?
Huh?
How many villages in the world?
How many villages in the world?
Huh?
How many villages in the world?
Yeah.
Too many.
One village.
So many.
It takes a village.
Very simple. Only one village and it's global village.
Yeah.
Global village.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, it takes a village. Yeah, that's right. It takes a village.
Johnny, we're just talking about general ideas right now. General ideas about philosophy. So
it's funny. Oh, sorry, it's funny, Rick. You should say. You said overthink. Sometimes, I think I do find myself thinking too much because I've always been conscious about other things. The world does not the world does not revolve around us. It's everybody. Everybody is unique. Everybody is special. And
well, something I saw something the other day, and I strongly believe in this. That reading is one of the most important factors in obviously expanding your knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they find that people that are readers tend to obviously have a different view about life in many cases, not in all cases, but many cases. And reading is one of the best ways to, I think, enhance your mental capability, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of things that we can talk about this. Okay, well, basically, unless anybody has a last comment they would like to make, any last comments?
Sorry, Rick, I left the call because my father asked me to do something. I am in the city center and it's hard to talk because it will make noise around me. So I'm inside the car and I just want to know what happened. It means which means Team C on which voted.
We're not in teams.
You want to know whether or not you won, huh?
Oh yes.
No. Team B. Mary voted for Team B. So you and Christina, you guys did a good job. She said you guys did a good job. She said it was a really hard decision she had to make. Okay, that may be the hardest decision of her life. Okay.
Yes.
That's getting married.
Because of the member of the member of the team on Grade B. Because everyone said two mean arguments, so they will win easily because the number is great than us. So, okay, what do you think? We make something which is, I think, it's useful, it's important, or not in general?
Well, again, the reason we do this, the reason why we, it's easy to come up with a very black and white topics. A topic like should cigarettes be illegal? Well, that's a pretty black and white. It doesn't require, I guess it does require some thinking. But when you come up with a philosophical type of question, I think, or a topic, it maybe forces you to think a little bit more about your beliefs. Yesterday, we had a really good discussion, I think, in terms of what we thought about this topic. We had a lot of good ideas. I think that, people, again, like you said, Imad, you bring up some really good points. You brought up some good points yesterday. And a lot of it is based upon our environment and our culture.
Except for me, all did very well.
Except for you, of course.
Yeah.
You're developing.
No. Everybody.
Anyway, Richard, in your absence, will you be replaced by Marsa or
no, me. I'll take over.
Will Marisa replace replacement?
No one can replace Rick ever.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So let me explain it one more time, Rashid. I think I mentioned this the other day. Our team, of course. I mean, we have more than me. We have.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'm not even saying the native speakers. I mean, we have Rojano, we have Jamila, we have Johnny. Okay. Then on the native speaker side, of course, we have Jamie, and we have Marissa here. So one of my goals, one of my objectives before I personally start traveling a lot in the near future is to, we've talked about this with Johnny, we've talked about it with Rojano and Jamila, is we want to come up with the way so that, we always do this.
We always want you to be around.
Well,
he's not a mortal.
Yes.
He's not.
Yes.
He's not a mortal.
No.
Yes. Always.
No. So
Yes.
the point here, if we think about what we want to achieve with these sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
The point that we're looking for, and we're always asking for volunteer. Now, here's an important point. We need consistency. So, for example, if someone says, okay, well, I can do the Saturday sessions, I can do the Friday sessions, to be honest, I expect that person to do it, okay? If they can't do it, then say you can't do it. Because to me, the most important thing that we have going for us for the past several years, it's been actually more than a couple, okay? It's been 3, 4, 5 years now. But people can always expect that on a Friday, we're going to do something. They can expect on a Saturday, we're going to do something. On a Wednesday, we're going to do something. On a Thursday, we're going to do something. And all of you know, nobody likes wasting their time, right?
Right.
So people don't want to wait around, and then they find out something's not going to happen because nobody's available to do it. So the most important thing for us looking forward is to find people that can help us, that are going to be willing to commit to the time, because it's a big commitment. It's a big commitment for people to spend the time.
Teacher, if you are not beyond internet area, I mean, if you are within the reach of internet, you can take part in session anywhere from anywhere of the world. So it will not be a problem for you, I suppose.
Well, no, but it's not. But see, I don't think you're getting my point. Dreams of Motion is not about Jamie. It's not about Rick.
No,
it's not about Johnny. It's not about individuals. Okay.
Okay.
If you think something, okay, let me finish. So if people believe that Dreams of Motion is about any one individual, you're wrong. Okay. Dreams of Motion is about people, not a person. Okay. So I have to be really clear about that. Okay. So my goal. Well, let me finish one last thing.
Okay.
My goal is that we will always have a way to do this, regardless of who it is. Johnny, Jamie, Marissa, Rosano, Jamila, maybe Hiroki, maybe
Leon also. Maybe Leon also.
Huh?
Maybe Leon also can be part of this.
Well,
or Mary.
So I think the point is.
I wish I could.
Hang on.
I could help you, Mary. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
I think the key thing is. The key thing for us is when people think about what we do here, there's actually a lot that goes into it, right? Because we have to build material, load it on the website. You know, we have to speak for the call, we have to host the call, we have to write down the results of the call. So there's a lot involved, and it's not always easy to have people commit that much time to it. It's hard.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I said I wish I could.
Host. Yeah, I could never host because
actually, as you are most of the time, you come on the session, you conduct the session. We are habituated. I mean, with you. That's why I was sorry. I asked those sort of questions to you.
Well, no, I don't. You know, it's something we talk about all the time. Johnny and myself and Jamila and Rajano talk about this all the time. How do we find a way in the future, since we've been doing this, I've been doing this for about 5 years now, but how do we find a way in the future to make sure that we always do this, always maintain what we're trying to accomplish here? And of course, it's not easy, but I'm sure that we can find a way. So.
But in my
Can you hear me?
opinion, I was thinking about it to learn English, and also especially with speaking English, we would rather to have somebody who have their native language to be here as a host.
No, I understand. That's understandable.
I agree. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with the madam who was talking shortly before, because a native English speaker can moderate easily.
Yeah, but I'm a dish. It's easier than that.
And just I wanted to say hi. I wanted to say hi, and shortly after I will be off. Even in this short term, I really enjoyed as a philosophy student, and this is my. I don't know. I get excited when people are talking about it. It's really nice to know.
If I could comment, sorry, Dish.
Many people don't like to talk about philosophy, and they laugh about it. Oh, philosophy! Well, don't you have anything? They say generally, but where is human? Where is mindset? Where is mind? There is really philosophy. And philosophy starts with Adam and Eva, if you ask me, if you ask my opinion. Yeah. So, if you don't mind, I want to say bye and leave the group to make it clear, not to be much in the temporary group.
Okay. Thank you, Amadeus.
Yeah, Jamie, you were saying something. Let me listen to you, and then I will
listen to me. I was just gonna say, Rashid something. Rashid said something, and then Rashid. There's a saying in English. I'm sure Rick knows it. There is no I in team. It means like everybody is part of a team. They commit. It's not just one person. It's everybody, every member of a team. Because no one can do this alone. That's impossible. So,
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
The team is very important.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
the other thing, hey, Amadeus, before you leave. Oh, okay,
He got- he left.
So
That's quick.
what I was going to recommend is that I think Johnny, you recorded this live, right, on Facebook. I think. Okay. So the other thing that I want to remind everybody is yesterday we did a video chat, and we had a lot of good discussion. I did record that as well. So I'll try and Johnny, I'll try and get that to you. That's a video chat, so it's going to be a much larger file, of course. But anyway, so listen, I want to say thank you, Marissa. Nice to see you again. It's been a long time. And we really enjoy having you back.
Mary, bye,
Yes,
Marissa.
to
Bye,
be back
guys.
with you all again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, bye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
see you in a second.
Bye, bye.
See you,
Bye-bye.
see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
bye.
you.
Adios,
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.